Yo, what's good, my true crime crew? Welcome back to the channel where we unravel the wildest, creepiest stories out there. Today, we're plunging into a case so chilling it sent shockwaves across the UK, the Crossbow Cannibal. I'll break it down in a way that's easy to follow, with just a sprinkle of sass to keep the vibes light. But above all, we're here to honor the victims whose lives were stolen by this monster. So, let's dim the lights, crank up the suspense, and dive right in. Alright, let me introduce our main character, our villain, Stephen Griffiths, a 40-year-old single guy and a PhD student in criminology at the University of Bradford. Sounds pretty normal, right? But hold up, don't let this intellectual vibe fool you. Oh, I'm a PhD student. I study serial killers, but I'm harmless. Yeah, right. In reality, Griffiths wasn't studying to get good grades. He was studying to become a killer. He was obsessed with infamous serial killers like Jack the Ripper and Peter Sutcliffe, aka the Yorkshire Ripper, who terrified Northern England. Get this, Griffiths even went to the same school as another killer, John George Hay, the guy who stuffed his victims in barrels of acid. Honestly, if you went to a school with 2 alumni who were murderers, wouldn't you feel a bit creeped out? He built a whole shrine in his apartment, books about murder, photos of victims, razor-sharp swords, and of course, a crossbow, a weapon that sounds old school but can kill in one shot. Griffiths even called himself misanthropic, a fancy word for hating humanity, and posted stuff on social media like, "I'm just a demon in human skin." Thanks for the heads up, bro. But the scariest part, he wasn't just talking. He had a plan to become a legend in the world of serial killers. Before he became the monster that made all of England shudder, Stephen Griffiths was, well, let's say normal, but the kind of normal that feels off when you look closer. He had a psychology degree from the University of Leeds, loved partying at Bradford's clubs, and took care of his looks like he was about to star in a Hollywood movie. His ex-girlfriend Zeta Pinder once said with a hint of nostalgia, "Steve was super sweet, always made me laugh, and even took me to feed the ducks." Oh, how romantic. But Zeta girl, you had no idea this guy was hiding a secret creepier than a Netflix horror flick. Griffiths' apartment wasn't a home, it was a crime museum. He even made his own website, listen to this, with photos of victims from over 50 famous killers. Zeta said when she stepped into his apartment. Her jaw dropped, she froze for a few seconds, and then made a quick excuse. My stomach hurts, gotta go! Girl, you made the right call, stay any longer, and you might have ended up as the star of his creepy collection. But here's the really scary part. Griffiths wasn't just a weird guy who collected spooky stuff, he had a serious mental health history. As a teen, he attacked a girl with a knife, got locked up in a mental institution, and was diagnosed with a psychotic disorder. Griffiths' mind was a total mess. He saw himself as above everyone else, like, I'm smart, I'm a PhD student, why doesn't anyone get me? But deep down, he craved recognition, fame. Not the TikTok viral kind, but the serial killer legend kind. He wrote on social media, "I'm a demon in human skin." Sounds like a joke, but nope. It was a real confession. His obsession with murder, mixed with feeling rejected by society, especially after failing to keep a girlfriend, pushed him into the abyss. He didn't just want to kill, he wanted the world to know his name. And the sad part? No one saw these glaring red flags until it was too late. Alright guys, this is the most important part. The part I want you to listen to with your whole heart. Stephen Griffiths took the lives of 3 women. Susan Rushworth, Shelley Armitage, and Suzanne Blamires. They weren't just sex workers or people struggling with addiction. They were mothers, sisters, daughters with dreams, smiles, and happy days that were cruelly stolen by drugs and Griffiths. Let's look back at their stories, not just to remember the crimes, but to honor the real people behind these names. Susan Rushworth, 43, vanished in June 2009. Susan was once a devoted mother who always carried a small bracelet her daughter gave her, a reminder of happier times. Her brother said she had a smile that could light up a room, but drugs turned her into a stranger. Her family tried everything, begging, driving through the red light district to find her, but addiction was stronger than love. One night, Susan crossed paths with Griffiths in the red light district. He lured her to his apartment, and she never came back. Griffiths later coldly admitted he killed her, chopped up her body in the bathtub, and dumped it in the River Aire. Only a few pieces of her body were found, leaving her family in endless pain, asking, "Susan, where are you?" Shelley Armitage, 31, disappeared in April 2010. Shelley was once a radiant girl, passionate about beauty, dreaming of posing for fashion magazines. Her sister Gemma choked up as she said, she was the best sister, always singing, always making everyone laugh. But heroin dragged Shelley to rock bottom, turning her dreams into nightmares. That fateful night, a Bradford charity stopped their van, offering to take her home safely. Shelley smiled and shook her head. "I just need 10 more pounds." 10 pounds, just 10 pounds, cost her entire life. Griffiths lured her to his apartment, and no one saw Shelley walk out alive. Her family, especially Gemma, scoured the red light district looking for her, but all they found was heartbreak. Suzanne Blamires, 36, went missing in May 2010. Suzanne was once a nursing student with dreams of saving lives, always making her mom proud with her stellar essays. But drugs shattered that dream, pushing her onto a path with no way out. That night, after a fight with her boyfriend, Suzanne wandered the red light district and caught Griffiths' eye. He lured her to his apartment, and this time, it was all caught on security cameras. Griffiths chased Suzanne down the hallway, shot her in the head with a crossbow, and get ready for goosebumps. He looked up and smiled at the camera like he was showing off his trophy to the world. I watched that footage and just wanted to scream, "What is wrong with this guy?" After each murder, Griffiths turned his apartment into a slaughterhouse. He chopped up the bodies in the bathtub, ate some parts, yes, he was a cannibal, and dumped or burned the rest to cover his tracks. This wasn't just cruel, it showed he saw his victims as trophies in his sick plan. But you know what? Susan, Shelley, and Suzanne weren't just names in a police file. They were people who fought, who loved, and who deserved to be remembered. Before we move on, I want us to take a moment to honor them and send our condolences to their families who are still living with unbearable pain. In May 2010, the curtain finally fell on Griffiths' crimes, and guess what? The security camera in his building became his biggest betrayer. The police swooped in right after, searched Griffiths' apartment, and oh my gosh, they found a whole treasure trove of horrors. A crossbow, swords sharp as razors, stacks of books on murder, and scariest of all, body parts dumped in the River Aire. In the interrogation room, Griffiths sat sipping tea, calm as if he were talking about a grocery run. "Yeah, I killed Susan, Shelley, and Suzanne. No big deal. Guys, I heard that and wanted to flip the table." He showed no remorse, acting proud like he'd just finished some twisted PhD project. Griffiths' mindset at this point was peak narcissism. He didn't just want to kill, he wanted the world to know him. In court, when asked his name, he smugly declared, "I'm the Crossbow Cannibal." Sorry, but that name sounds like a lousy 80s rock band. He thought it would make him immortal, but in reality, it just made people more disgusted. In December 2010, Griffiths was sentenced to 3 life terms with no chance of parole. He's currently locked up in HMP Full Sutton, one of the UK's toughest prisons. He even went on a hunger strike to try to get transferred to a mental hospital, probably hoping for special treatment. Keep dreaming, Griffiths. No one's buying it. If there's justice, he'll stay behind bars for the rest of his life, paying for what he did. And so, the story of the Crossbow Cannibal comes to an end. But what he left behind still gives us chills. Griffiths wasn't just a killer. He's proof of how dangerous a brilliant mind can be when it goes down the wrong path. He wanted fame, but at the cost of 3 innocent lives. I want to take a moment to honor Susan, Shelley, and Suzanne. They weren't just victims. They were people with dreams, families, and stories of their own. This case reminds us that vulnerable people, like those struggling with addiction or working in sex trade, need more protection. And if you ever see someone with red flags, like a collection of weapons or an obsession with murder, report it right away. Don't hesitate like Zeta did. Thanks for watching until the end. If you found this case intriguing, give it a like, subscribe, and comment to let me know which case you want me to cover next. Oh, and don't forget to share this video to warn others about the demons hiding in plain sight. See you in the next video. Peace out.